All right, welcome. I'm excited to make this video. So by the end of this video, you're going to have a completely done for you snapshot that you'll be able to head over to my school community that's completely free. Hop on in there, download this snapshot, import it into your account, and start using it today. Now, what I am going to do here is probably something that I wish I had myself, which is why I'm creating it. I'm going to create a pretty much a SaaS in a box, or ready set SaaS mode, whatever you want to call it. I'm going to use a model that is not unique. There are a lot of people out there using this model, but essentially they're combining GoHighLevel, Uphex, and Closebot. And if you don't know what those are, don't worry. I'm going to talk about them here in a little bit. But essentially, at the end of this, I want you to have a snapshot, a generic snapshot that's going to work across different industries, that'll serve as your foundational snapshot that you can deploy and fulfill SaaS services for your clients with a click of a button. And so the snapshot is not meant to be very niche specific. It's actually the opposite. It is generic enough for you to have your foundation, right? Foundation is the key word here, that maybe you build on top of, or maybe maybe you don't build on top of it. And maybe this is 100% your solution and you're just keeping it simple. You're just looking to scale with simple solutions for your clients. And so what I have here in front of you is just a bunch of boxes, but these are assets, just really an ideal board, a mind map of sorts for me, so that I can go through this snapshot build with you all and provide you with a product that you can consistently, copy and paste. What I'll do here as well is whenever I share this, again, it's going to be completely free in the school community. You can go in there and download it. The school community is called Automation Station, and I should pull it up here on the Automation Station. So if you are not familiar with my school community, I just started it, and I'm really hoping to get some of these you viewers and you subscribers in there. So if you're new to the channel, welcome. I'm Justin Melendez. I run a marketing and automation agency, and I have a full-time job. So I do this on the side, and I like to make videos showing you exactly how I solve problems in my business. So this video is going to be a longer video, and just because you get the snapshot, I don't recommend that you just pause the video or go away and then download the snapshot and import it. And it's not because I want my YouTube watch time to be up, but it's because if you look at all the assets here in front of you, there's just a bunch of stuff that you're going to want to be able to use, especially if you plan to sell this to clients at $397 a month or whatever price you choose to set, and you have no clue how this snapshot works, then you're going to find yourself in heaps of trouble. Not only that, maybe you want to modify this snapshot to your liking, and you're going to need to know how all this stuff works. So I recommend watching this all the way through. Even if you have to pause it, save it to your watch later list and come back to it and watch it so you know exactly what's going on. And if you're really feeling frisky, then maybe you don't import the snapshot and you just take this as an exercise, a practical exercise to build alongside me, to have your screen up and build as I build. I personally think that's the best way to do it. I've never really been a huge fan of snapshots for that reason, because it's like copying somebody else's notes. You don't know what it is. So before we hop in here, let me go ahead and just show you what high-level Uphex and Closebot are. If you're not familiar with high-level, let me pull it up here. So GoHighLevel.com, it is an all-in-one sales and marketing platform. Essentially, it's everything in one box. And I know that's really vague, but essentially it takes your email marketing, your text message marketing, your funnel building, your website hosting, your course hosting, a bunch of stuff all in one. And most of you people who are watching my channel are probably very familiar with GoHighLevel. But the powerful thing about GoHighLevel is they allow you to pay one small monthly fee, which is, you can honestly do this for $297 a month, and you can create unlimited sub-accounts. You can white label it, so you can slap your own label on it and sell it as your own, right? Which is a software as a service, and you can go and bring on clients, and then you could sell it to them and make money. And your price at $297 a month or $497 a month, which is the highest plan they have. I'm not going to go over the different plans and pricing, but it never goes up. Doesn't matter if you have one sub account or if you have 100 sub accounts, your price will never go up. So it's extremely powerful. It's how I've built a substantial amount of revenue for me and my family. So now Uphex, what is Uphex? These two down here are not mandatory, but I think they are powerful bolt-ons to the GoHighLevel framework. And Uphex, what it does for you is provides you with templated ads that make it super simple for your clients to come in and launch their ads in as little as 3 clicks. And so I'll show you what I mean. And so if you come in here to Uphex, this is sort of the back end of Uphex once you're already an Uphex user. And if you're not an Uphex user, I'll leave a link down below. And if you want to support the channel, click that link, sign up for a free trial, and check it out alongside with me, because there are multiple agencies out here who are just reselling Uphex, GoHighLevel, and not even including Closebot or including Closebot, and making tons of money. So if you come in here, that we have all these different template categories. If I just select something like, I think here we're going to work on like a home service company. Let's go into remodeling, and that there are Google and Facebook ad templates that are already ready-made for you. And you can just come in here and provide them to your clients so that they can launch them, make them their own, and launch it in their market, and they can do it in as little as 3 clicks. It's really powerful. If you look here, there's over 62 ads. So there's a ton of ads already done for you. You don't have to do the work. And the beautiful thing about it is you add this as a custom menu link inside of your GoHighLevel, and it's going to be accessible. So I think here I have some templates. Let me pop open a new tab so I can show you what it would look like inside of a sub account. So let me pop this over. Bear with me as I switch to my demo account. All right, so pop this in here. So this is just a demo account I have, and you can add this custom menu link over here on the sidebar. And once you have that custom menu link, this is Uphex incorporated into your GoHighLevel account. If I click launch a new campaign, you'll see we have this building and remodeling. We have all these templates that are already made. Now we're in the middle of importing these templates, so the images aren't all imported just yet, but probably by the end of the video, they will be. So I will show you how to create that custom menu link, and I'll show you how to create the snapshot. And so that is Uphex in a nutshell. Now, Closebot, what is Closebot? Closebot is an automatic, it says it here, AI for agencies, used to scale qualification, lead qualification, and booking. And so in short, this is a conversational text-based AI bot. So essentially, as your clients start generating new leads, this tool, Closebot, is used to go out and automatically text them and have conversations with them. Okay, it's a little bit more complicated than that, but it's not really. It's pretty simple, but as it in its most simplest form, it connects to your GoHighLevel, and you can text new leads, and then you can have a full conversation. You set objectives for the bot. I have multiple videos on my channel showing how to build Closebot bots and automatically qualify and book appointments for your clients. And the reason why we're attaching this is because it's not enough just to generate leads for your clients. As a matter of fact, your clients are going to be generating leads for themselves. That's the whole point of this, is you're going to give them access to Uphex, you're going to give them access to GoHighLevel, you're going to build a snapshot, you're going to give them that foundational account where they can go in. Maybe you create a series of onboarding videos, or you have an onboarding call, or maybe 1 or 2 onboarding calls. You show them how to use the system, and then they're off to the races, and they're generating their own leads using the templates that you provided them in Uphex. But it's not enough just to generate leads. They need to qualify leads. And historically, businesses, small businesses, and especially mom and pops, owner operators, it's hard for them. They're busy. They're out in the field. They're serving their clients. They're doing their trade. They don't have time to sit by the phone and all these new leads coming in. They don't have time to get back to them automatically. So that's where conversational AI comes in, and you use a tool like Closebot to reach out to these leads on their behalf, so that as soon as the lead comes in, they're getting engaged by your bot. And then at the end of the day, when your trade or your client has time to go and triage their leads, they can look at all the conversations that have happened, which leads were actually qualified, focus on the qualified leads, have those conversations, book appointments, and close sales. And so it's extremely powerful. So if we come back over here, that explains that. And I put here $397 a month. Really, I think you can charge anywhere between $97 and $997. I don't know. You make it up. You know, really, I provide these kinds of services to my own clients, done for you at anywhere between $797 a month to $1,500 a month, but that's me doing it for them. And so these services are extremely valuable. Think about it. If I take the exact ad templates that I run for my own clients and I put them into a template library, and I just teach somebody, you know, like my 9-year-old nephew can do this. If I just teach somebody how to do this and they can do it themselves, then maybe I can charge them less and then just give them access to the software. Takes a bunch of work off of my plate, empowers them to spend more money on ads so they get better results. And yeah, I don't have to sit there and babysit them. So it's a win all across the board. All right, enough talk. Let's go ahead and build a snapshot. Now, if you don't know what a snapshot is, it's exactly what it sounds like. It is a sub account in your GoHighLevel, okay? And all it is just essentially a saved state where you can just clone that sub account over and over again. And so what we're gonna do here is we are gonna hop in. Right now I'm in my agency view and I'm going to pop here. I'm gonna create a new sub account and I'm gonna create it from a blank snapshot. And I'm gonna click on add manually here. And then as far as naming goes, I'm going to make up information here. So I'll call this, I don't know, ready, set. For the email, I'll just put in a bogus email. Let me make sure this is big enough for you. And then for the business name here, I am going to name this. I'm going to use a sort of a naming convention that I have in my agency, but in square brackets, I just put snapshot in here just so that I could identify it. Remember, this is a sub account. And so I don't want to confuse this with an actual sub account. I don't want to use this for a sub account. So I use this square brackets snapshot identifier as a naming convention, so I know not to modify the sub account unless I truly intend to modify the snapshot. So here we'll call this ready set SaaS. Okay. Leave the business niche empty. For here, I'm just going to put in a bogus phone number. Please don't call that phone number. I don't know who it belongs to. Address 123 Main Street, Miami, Florida. Let's see, United States, 186. Website I'll leave empty. Time zone doesn't really matter because this is just a snapshot, but let's go ahead and set Eastern time zone where I'm at and add sub account. So if you notice, we just created a sub account. We just put some filler information in there right now because that's all we wanted. Sub account is created. So what we are going to do is switch into the sub account and start building this sub account out. Now, it's very important as we start to build this sub account out that we try to remain as industry agnostic, meaning not specific to any industry as possible. And anywhere where we would refer to a business name or any like unique business information like a phone number or a website, we create a variable for it. And in GoHighLevel, they call those variables custom values, which are account-wide variables. And don't worry, you're going to get some practice with that. And custom fields, which are contact-wide variables. And you'll see what I mean here in a second. So let's go back to our mind map here and see where it is we want to start. And so I don't have this in any particular order, but I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to start over here in the custom values section. So I'm going to create a set of custom values that I know from experience are needed for sub accounts, no matter the industry. And so I'm going to start here at logo and let's go ahead and create that first one. So if I come over here to settings, scroll down, custom values, I'm actually going to create a folder because if you use this snapshot and you import it into an existing account, I want you to be able to distinguish the folder. So what I'm going to do is add a folder and I will say LB custom values for lead brain custom values. Maybe you're white labeled, you don't want lead brain to show up. So I'll just abbreviate it as much as I can. So here's our folder and I'm going to go ahead and add custom values in here. So first thing we're going to do is add logo. We're going to leave these custom values empty right now because remember, this is just a snapshot. And even if you fill these custom values in, whenever you clone it into a sub account, it won't actually copy the values in there. Our next value is going to be from email. So this is going to be the email that we want to send as we want to set as our from email whenever we create a sub account. Come back here, we have Facebook, Instagram, and I'll create this next one and then I'm going to pause the video and go through the rest of them because there's nothing special about this. I don't want you to sit here and watch paint dry. So Facebook, and then I'll add Instagram, and then I'm going to go on and create the rest of the custom values with the video paused. All right, so I created my generic custom values. So I just went ahead and let me see if I can pull a pencil up here. I went ahead and I created all of these. And so if I come in here, I have one for all of them. So we have the 𝐭𝐡𝐞𝐫, which is the conversions API section for Facebook. If you don't know what that means, don't worry about it. It's an advanced topic, but I'm creating this for myself as well. And so I'm bringing you along with me. So I'm creating this for me. We have the Facebook, which is meant for the Facebook page URL, the from email, the Instagram email, the logo, the pixel ID, the privacy policy, and terms and conditions. Now, next, what I'm going to do is come back and I'm going to create another folder that's going to be called Lead Brain Bot. So LB Bot. And these are going to be custom values that are specific to the bot we're going to connect. And so if you do this, excuse me, and you don't intend to use a conversational AI bot of any kind, you can skip this section, and any section where I make mention to a bot, just know it doesn't apply to you. But if you do want to use a bot, then here's what we're going to do. We're going to create the initial bot message. And the reason why we create this as a custom value is because we're going to use this initial bot message in different workflows. And so in the event I ever want to change the initial bot message, I don't want to have to dig through 4 or 5 different workflows to change every single appearance of that initial bot message. I only want to change it in one place, which is the custom value, and then it'll change it in all the places. And you'll see what I mean as we go in and start working on workflows. Company information, company name, company services, company service area, company website, and company address. Now, this is going to serve as sort of a form, let's say, where I'm filling out all this information. And then whenever I go to build my Closebot out, I can just refer to these custom values inside of Closebot, because Closebot and GoHighLevel are directly integrated. Now, in this video, I'm not going to go over creating a Closebot, but again, on my YouTube channel, I have a ton of Closebot content in there where you see I build bots live. So what I'm going to do is hop back in here and go into this folder, which is the LB bot values. And I'm just going to go through and create this stuff. So I'm going to create those custom values. I'll pause the video so you don't have to watch me go through all this, and I'll pop back in once they're all created. All right, so here we are. I went ahead and I created the bot specific custom values, and I'm not sure why I did that, but if we come over here, we took care of all this. And again, all these is whenever I choose to create a bot inside of Closebot, if I come in here, let's see if I can pop open a Closebot for you, just so I could show you what I mean. That's not what I wanted. I wanted Closebot. So if I pop in, I am going to use, let me see if I pop open a bot here. And if I look in the main prompt, give that a second to load, but I'll actually be able to use the information that are in these custom values once Closebot is integrated with GoHighLevel. And instead of filling this out inside of the bot, I'll literally fill it out here inside of the custom values. And then all I'll do is copy, let's say, company information. If I wanted to reference that inside of my Closebot, I would copy the custom value here. And then I would come in here of a demo bot. And if you notice here, the custom values don't match because this is a demo bot that I built with another sub account. But you see here, I'm referring all this stuff in squiggly brackets here. I am referring to the company name, the company information, the services provided, and the company website as custom values. And so the idea is that you make those changes inside of here and they are automatically imported inside of here. It is an important piece for scalability, because even as you build the snapshot for GoHighLevel, you can technically build a templated bot inside of Closebot that you just clone over and over again, or maybe connect this one bot to multiple sub accounts, which is possible in Closebot. And it's incredibly powerful because all you have to do is fill out the custom values and go on from there. So enough beating that dead horse. So let's come in here. Let's see what we have next. We can go on and do custom fields next. And so I'm not actually going to focus on Closebot created custom fields, because that is actually automatically going to get created anytime I use Closebot and I integrate my sub account with the close, and that'll automatically create a set of custom values that I don't have to worry about creating manually. Now, again, if you don't intend on using Closebot, this stuff doesn't matter. You can just ignore it. This snapshot is going to work without it. I'm just showing you how I'm going to build this for me and for my companies. And so here we're going to build a custom field called bot control. And it is a custom field that I like to create so that I can give my clients control over the bot in a simple manner. So if they want to turn the bot off for a client, it's a simple check mark to turn off the bot. And so what I do here is I come into custom fields, not to be confused with custom values. Remember, custom fields are a contact wide. And so let me pop back into the demo account. All right, so we're here in custom fields, and what I want to do is go to folders, and then I'm going to go to contact info because I'm going to put it in the contact info section, and I'm going to add a field. It is going to be a checkbox field. Click next, and I'm going to name it bot control, and then the option is going to be turn off bot and no other options. And what I'm going to do is come down here and drag this up to the top and click, I don't need to click save. And I'm going to show you what that looks like inside of a contact. So if I come in here and add a contact, just a test contact here, contacts are not copied whenever you create a snapshot. So even though I'm creating a test contact here, don't worry about it. It's not going to be copied over. But I do want to show you what that's there for. So once I pop in here, you see I have this bot control, which is a custom field that I just created. Remember I said custom fields are contact wide and not account wide, so they pertain to the specific contact. And so if they want to turn off the bot, all they have to do is check that and click save, and then they'll be able to turn off the bot. Now we are going to build a workflow to support that because that custom field alone with no workflow actually does nothing. It just stores that value. But we're actually going to create a workflow to support that here in the near future. So I'll leave this test contact in there for now. So let's look at this. So we already went over here and we created the custom field. What do we want to create next? So let's see what we have. A sales pipeline. That seems pretty simple. So we're going to create a simple sales pipeline. And remember that we're trying to keep this industry agnostic. We're trying to keep this very simple so that we can scale it and so that it's easy to manage. And even better, it's easy to train an employee to help fulfill this and support this. And so we're keeping the pipeline stages very simple. New lead, qualified lead, appointment set, appointment complete, sold, dropped. So it doesn't matter if you're working with a home service company that's doing estimates. We're just going to say appointment because it's also an appointment for them. Or maybe you're working with a med spa that does appointments. It's an appointment for them too. And let's say you work with a company that doesn't do appointments. Okay, cool. Then maybe they don't use those stages, or maybe you delete those stages for yourself. And so let's go pop in and create that opportunity pipeline or that sales pipeline. So we come in here to opportunities, click on pipelines, and we're going to create a new pipeline, and we are going to name it sales, new lead, qualified lead. What did I say? Appointment set, appointment complete, sold. Appointment set, complete, sold. And what was the last? Dropped. Okay. Dropped. And so we'll save that. Whenever you're doing this, whenever you're creating a snapshot, I mess this up sometimes, but pay attention to typos, pay attention to capitalization, because you're going to be copying this over and over again to other sub-accounts. And so one mistake turns into many mistakes very quickly. So if we come in here, we have our pipeline. All right, pretty simple, created, very simple. It doesn't have a bunch of different stages, and it'll work across different industries. So let's go ahead and count this complete. All right, it's moving pretty quick here. And so next thing we're going to do, let's create a generic intro email. And so this is challenging because intro emails can be, and what I mean by intro email is as soon as a new lead comes in, let's say somebody fills out a web form or a lead form, we want to send them an email immediately. We're also going to send them a text message, but for the email, we're just going to send them like something generic. Hey, here's what to expect. And I'm going to use ChatGPT to do this, but I'm going to keep it industry agnostic. And so if I come in here, I can say, let me write a short industry agnostic initial email for leads for, say, new leads. I want to tell them what to expect. And we're going to say someone from our team will text you. We will set up an appointment. Finally, schedule your services Just super simple. It doesn't have to be perfect. You can go in and modify this for yourself, but let's see what it comes up with. Cool. So super simple. Hey, welcome. Name. Thank you for your interest in our services. Here's what you can expect from us. Team contact. A member from our team will text you soon. We'll coordinate with you to set up a convenient appointment. I might remove this because maybe they don't do appointments. Service scheduling. Once we've discussed your needs, we'll finalize your schedule, your services, yada, yada. Cool. I think this is fine. I might just remove the appointment setup. So I'm just going to come in here and copy this. And then we're going to go into marketing, email, templates. And then we are going to create a blank template. We use a design editor. Let's call this intro email. Here, let's just delete this so we can start from scratch. And let's just paste this in here. So let's get rid of this. And make sure you can see this here. So hi, and we're going to use the contact's name. So if I come in here and select this little custom values item, I go to contact and I'll say first name. Thank you for your interest, yada. We said we're going to remove appointment setup. And then down here, we are going to sign off with our company information. But remember, we need to make it not only industry agnostic, but we need to make it agnostic to companies. So we need to use variables here. And so maybe we come in here and we use a variable for the account owner's name. And so if we come back in here, custom values, look at account, and then we'll say, and then maybe I think we can do owner. And no, that is the URL. So we're going to have to come in here, account, owner. I wonder if I clicked website. Yeah, for some reason, it doesn't like that. So we're going to use the owner first name, space, last name. So if I come in here, back to account, owner, first name, and then we will come back in here and use owner, last name. So that'll be the owner's first name and the last name. So if the owner's name is Justin Melendez, it'll put it in there. And all right, thought I had to sneeze. Now, title, we'll leave that empty for now. We can put the company name in here. So instead of these square brackets here provided by ChatGPT, won't expand into anything inside of GoHighLevel. So we have to use these curly braces, which are referred to as merge fields or variables inside of GoHighLevel. And so we're just going to replace this company name with a variable, which is known as location name, which can be found in the account section. So account name would be the location name. Now, I caution you with using this because this might have the official name. And sometimes people have an official name for their company, but their actual name is something different. Maybe they're doing business as another name. And so maybe that's incorrect. And so maybe for your application, you want to use the custom value that we created called company name. So if we come into company name, we can search here and we look for 𝐿B_bot, which is the folder we created. And what do we have here? Company name. So if we wanted to use that custom value, we could, but right now I'm just going to leave it as the name. And then maybe we'll just leave it at that. If you wanted to include the website, you can literally come in here and say account website, and there you go. Now, what we're going to do here also is I'm going to add a logo. So if I come here to image, I'm going to put an image in here, and inside of the image URL, instead of actually using an image, and I'm going to save. I should have been saving often. I typically don't make that mistake, but you want to save early and often whenever you are using the web editor, the funnel editor, the website editor, or the email editor, because sometimes it can crash on you and then you'll lose all your work. So if I come in here, you see there's no tag up here, but I can still refer to a custom variable in here, a merge field. But I'm just going to borrow this tag down here and use the merge fields down here. So if I come into, let's just search logo. And if I go to lead brain custom values logo, and I just cut this and paste it in here, then I will be able to put that logo in there. And I'm going to reduce the height just so that it's a little bit smaller, and nothing's actually going to render in here right now because we don't have anything in that custom value. But whenever you onboard your client and you actually put a URL in that custom value, which is a picture of their logo will be located in here. So it's sort of individualized for every company, but this is exactly what we need right here. And so we'll save. Again, this is meant to be basic, foundational. You can come in here and you can edit it and make it your own, but it's going to be foundational. Now, what I didn't do here was create a folder, and so I will create a folder called LB email templates. That way, if you import this into an existing account, it's in a folder, nice and organized. And I'm just going to move that email into the folder. There you go. So we have our email template. Too easy. So now we did that. Now we're going to create some snippets, and these snippets are going to be used inside of workflows, much like we did our initial bot message, where I want to be able to change this message in one place and then it be changed in multiple places. So these are going to be used for internal notifications. And so I want to be able to make them generic now, but maybe for you, if say you're working with flooring contractors and you're running ads to a form that asks for their approximate square footage, then you might be wanting to notify the team about square footage. You'll see what I mean here in a second. We're going to stay here in the marketing section, and then we're going to click on snippets. We're going to add a folder here, and I'm going to name it LB internal notifications. Did I spell that correctly? Notifications. I think so. Sorry if I misspelled stuff here. All right. So if I come in here, I'm going to add a snippet, and let's start with an email snippet. And this is going to be LB unqualified email notification. And then this is going to say you have a new unqualified lead. And then what we'll do here is we will say this is I wonder if there is a variable for the agency name. Be interesting if there is. Client portal contact attribution account campaign user appointment contact. I bet there's a merge field for the agency name. I'm not going to stress about that, but I'm going to say this is a system notification. You have a new lead. And because we're keeping this industry agnostic, I'm just going to provide the name and the phone number. Now, again, you may have more information about this lead. And so if you do, you would come into this snippet, you would modify this snippet, add the information that you want your client to be notified with, and save it. And then that way you don't have to worry about going into workflows and saving it in multiple places. So we're going to say contact full name. We'll say contact phone number, and let's do email as well. Pretty generic stuff. Most people will have phone, name, and email. And if some of this information is not present, no worries, that it just won't show up. It'll be blank there. And we'll leave it at that and save. And I'll give that a second to refresh. And now we are going to create the same. Essentially, I should come in here actually and just copy it so that I don't have to retype. Actually, no, the next one we're going to do is qualified email. And then we will say LB internal location qualified lead. Okay, new qualified lead. And then let's just paste this. You have a new, and then maybe we bold this so that they know it's qualified. And then, yeah, same information in there. So save. Now I want to name these similarly. So I know I messed that up. So let's come back in here, edit this. Awesome. OCD. All right, so we have our two message snippets. Now, the message snippets, we're going to send emails, and then we're going to send app notifications to them because we want them in the app. In the past, I used to send text messages to my clients telling them about new leads, but I've since stopped doing that because I want them to be using the Lead Connector app, or I want them to be logging into my white label version of GoHighLevel. And so I stick to emails and I stick to app notifications, and it's cheaper for the client because ultimately they're paying for the usage. And so we have our message snippets already taken care of. Now things are going to get fun. So here we're going to create an A2P 10 DLC funnel and an A2P 10 DLC form. And if you're unfamiliar with A2P 10 DLC, it is a regulatory requirement that is required in the United States in order for people to register their phone numbers and be able to text and originate calls. And so that's a lot of words, but essentially I have other videos inside of my channel, and there's tons of content inside of the GoHighLevel help documentation and on YouTube about getting a account approved for A2P 10 DLC. Now, in this case, I am just going to create the assets that I need for every account to become A2P 10 DLC certified. I'm going to make sure that all the values are in the right place, and then I will have it here so that when I copy it to my sub accounts, it's already sitting there and I don't have to import another snapshot to make it work. And so if I come in here, I am going to come into sites. First thing I'm going to do is create the form, and let's see. This is a new form builder, and so I don't want the new form builder. Why can't I just create a form? GoHighLevel. I want her to create a folder, so we'll create the form and then probably have to create the folder afterwards. And so what we're gonna name this is I'll be A2P 10 DLC form. And this is just a basic form, like a placeholder form that is used for approval. And so if I come in here, I'm actually going to use custom variables inside of here. So this terms and conditions, instead of having this X number here, I am going to use a, let's see, this is in my way. How do I move it? Yeah, it's hard to see. So I have a little toolbar here in the way, so no worries. We're gonna work with it. So what I'm gonna do is come in here and duplicate this tab so that I can just access some of the custom values. So let me pop out of here. And then let's just come into this contact I created, test contact. And then in here, I'm just going to look at account phone number, and I'm going to cut that and then paste that in here so that we have a variable in the place of the phone number. Remember, we want this to be scalable across multiple accounts. And cool. And this form is just a placeholder form, must I remind you. So instead of button here, we'll just say submit. This form's actually going to go nowhere. And here for privacy policy and terms and conditions, if you remember, we created custom values for this. So if I come into my settings, I go into custom values, and I look at my lead brain custom values, I have privacy policy. This is where I'm going to copy the privacy policy so that when I fill out the custom value here, when I'm onboarding the client, their privacy policy will be in here, which means that link that's provided inside of the form here is actually going to work. So let's come in here to privacy policy, and let me click this little link, and then instead of example.com, I'm going to paste my custom value in there. And then same for terms and conditions. I'm going to come over here, I'm going to copy that, and then I'll come in here, edit this link, paste, save. Cool. So we have a form that is good enough for A2P 10 DLC certification, so it's good to go. And I'm going to create a folder here. I'm going to name it LB Forms, and then move this into the folder so that you don't get confused. Move the folder, LB Forms, move. All right, next thing we're going to do is create a funnel, and that funnel is going to be for A2P 10 DLC stuff. So I have a template, or I should have a template inside of my agency where I should be able to just pop that in. So let me look at what this looks like. No, it's not the one I wanted. All right, cool. So this is a template that I pulled out of Extendly's A2P 10 DLC snapshot and their training that they brought in. And so I utilize this for getting me set up with A2P for all my clients. And so I'll import this template. I'll pause the video while that imports. All right, so the funnel actually came in and it was cloned. And so what I'm going to do is create a folder here called LB funnels. And then I'm just going to move this funnel inside of that folder just so when you import it, it stays organized. So let me move that and then pop that into the folder. Now we're actually going to pop into this one and make sure that our custom values are set because we created some different custom values for this snapshot and I want to make sure that they fill out appropriately. And so if I come in here to the funnel editor and I see that there are certain custom values that are named in here that came from my Extendly snapshot that actually don't exist in here. So we're going to fix that right now. Right here, we just want the business name. And so if we come into custom values and we go back to our folders in the bot section, we had our company name. And so we're going to use that custom value. So if I just paste and match style, we have company name. The form that we created here is the general, or this opt-in that we created, the A2P 10 DLC form. There you go. Our privacy policy and terms and conditions on the form are already set. But down here towards the bottom, we have another section for the name. If we just paste what we had, which is the company name, right now year, that's okay. But terms and conditions, that link needs to get updated with our terms and conditions custom value. If we come back into our custom values, look for terms and conditions, copy that, paste it. And then same for privacy policy. Come in here, copy our privacy policy, custom value, and paste it, save. Let's make sure we save this funnel. And then let's just take a look at the terms and conditions and the privacy policy. I'm going to show you what information you're going to place inside of the custom values that I showed earlier. Terms and conditions look good. These are very generic. This isn't legal advice. Get a lawyer to review or create your terms and conditions in your privacy policy. This is just a template. The responsibility is yours and your clients to make sure that this stuff is actually filled out correctly. So cool. So if I come back, whenever you're building out your account, what you're going to want to do is you're going to actually attach a domain during your onboarding. I'm not going to go over attaching domains here because, again, I'm just building a snapshot. But once you attach a domain, the terms and conditions page and the privacy policy page are actually going to come up with a URL up here. And so you would just copy that URL for both of those, and you would come into your custom values, edit, and paste it in there. Now, remember, that is for every single sub account. Every single sub account should have a different value in there because they have different domains. And so that's what's expected to go in there. So that covers the A2P 10 DLC funnel that is in there. And it looks like we have our form created. We have our funnel created. And now all we have to do is create our workflows, which is actually the hard part. So we've got a lot of work done up to this point. I told you this would be a long video, but now we're going to create workflows to essentially make this account work. And one of the workflows that I said I was going to create here, we're going to focus down here on tools. We'll do lead intake last because it's the heaviest topic, but let's focus down here on tools. And so we're going to create a missed call tech spec workflow. But the first workflow we're going to create here is this AI off tag management, because remember I told you that we were going to turn off the bot. And so what I want to do here is if somebody puts turn off bot, I want to be able to turn off the AI. And because I'm using Closebot looks for a tag that's called AI off. And if AI off is on, then it won't activate the bot for that contact. And so let's come in here to automations, and I will create a folder called LB automations. Create, and then we're going to work inside of this folder. So I'm going to create a workflow from scratch. All right, create it from scratch. And then I like to keep a naming convention. So this is a tool, and we're going to call this AI off management. And what I'm going to do is look for a trigger, which is contact changed. Bot control was the name of the field. Add a filter. Look for the bot control field. Added. Turn off bot. So whenever that turn off bot setting is saved in a contact, all we're going to do is come in here, add the tag, AI off. Cool. We'll publish this and save. Now, in a second here, we're going to create a nurture workflow, and I'm probably also, with that same AI off, going to remove the contact from the nurture workflow just because clients don't really know the difference between AI off and nurture. So I'm just going to underline this for now. I'm not going to cross it out because we're going to come back to this. Next thing we want to do is bot message. So this one's bot specific. If you don't plan on using Closebot, you won't need this. But if you are going to use Closebot, this is going to be a neat one. And actually, before we go and do that, I am going to create this lead nurture workflow because the bot message is actually going to reference the lead nurture workflow as well. So let's go ahead and work on this lead nurture workflow. This is going to be a very simple workflow. And what this workflow is meant to do is lead nurture as it says, but not in the sense that you think it means. So because I'm using a bot, my bot has follow-ups already built into it. So inside of Closebot, you can turn on a setting called Smart Follow-ups, which essentially, if a lead says, hey, just contact me tomorrow, the bot will interpret that and schedule a message for tomorrow automatically, which is really neat. But on top of that, let's say the bot is having a conversation and it's stuck on an objective, like it's trying to get the lead's address and the lead just stops responding. You can add follow-ups here on an interval. So I can say, hey, in 30 minutes, follow up. If they don't respond in one day, follow up. If they don't respond in another day, follow up. And so these follow-ups for like sort of objective follow-ups are handled by Closebot. But what in this lead nurture workflow, what I want to happen is initial contact. So as soon as the lead comes in and the bot is not active, the bot only activates as soon as the first message comes from the lead. It's not true. The bot's always active, but unless it has an AI off tag, but it's not gonna react until it gets a message from the lead. So this is assuming a new lead came in, but we're trying to get them to respond to us on that first message. And our lead intake workflow that we're gonna build here in a second is gonna be the first attempt at us getting that lead to respond. But let's say they don't respond to the first lead intake message, then we are gonna push them into this lead nurture workflow where they will be contacted at specific intervals to try to get them to respond and engage with the bot. So let's go ahead and create this lead nurture workflow. So let me back out of here. We're going to create a new workflow from scratch. And I'm going to name this one lead nurture, and the number will make sense here in a second. And so the trigger here, this is actually going to be a triggerless workflow because we're going to use our lead intake workflow to pass them in here. So I'm not going to add a trigger, and all I'm going to do here is add a wait step. And I'm going to say wait 30 minutes. Come in here, 30 minutes, save, and then I will add a SMS. And that SMS is going to say, you there? And this is difficult to conceptualize because you're not seeing, or we're sort of working backwards. You're not seeing the beginning of the conversation yet, but essentially the lead intake workflow, which is going to send the initial message, is then going to add them into this nurture workflow. So the first thing we're going to do is wait 30 minutes because we're assuming that if they haven't responded in 30 minutes, we're going to ping them again with a message like you're there. And in that 30-minute window, if they respond, then another workflow, our bot message workflow, is going to remove them from this workflow. So there's a little bit of magic going on here, but just stick with me. And so I'm just going to keep it. Remember, we have to remain agnostic. And so I'm just going to say you there. And that may seem incomplete, but remember, there's messages that have come before this that we're just reaching back out. We'll click save. And then what I like to do here to save some time is I just copy all actions from here. And then I'll paste here. We'll wait another 30 minutes. If they don't answer, we're going to be aggressive here in the beginning, trying to get them to respond or trying to disqualify them. And I can say, hey, contact, first name. This is, let's see if we have the bot name. I don't know if we have the bot name in here. We might have to create that custom value. Yeah, let's come in here and make sure we have a custom value for the bot name. So if we go into the bot, create a new custom value, bot name. If you're not using a bot name, you can come in here and modify that message and you can just remove the bot name section. But I'm going to use a bot name. So we say, hey, this is custom values bot name from a location name, which is account name. I'm just reaching back out to you regarding the services you were or let's say you showed interest in. Are you still interested? Question mark. These aren't optimized for conversion. Again, basic agnostic. I'm not trying to say, hey, are you interested in flooring services or whatever, because I'm going to deploy this across multiple accounts. You can come in here, optimize this, make it your own. So save. And then what I'm going to do here is I will copy all actions from here. And then maybe I wait another hour. Let's see, 1 hour. And then save this, come in here, and I'm going to do a warm breakup. Say, hey, contact first name, or I can just say contact first name. I don't mean to bother. I just wanted to make sure we served you best. If you are still interested, let me know. If not, feel free to reply with end in order to be removed from our list, right? Disqualify them if they don't want to, respond. Now, if they reply with end, I'm just going to say stop, because stop is automatically, if they reply with stop, then it'll set the do not disturb. Now, people like to not use stop because it can actually be counted against you if too many people reply with stop, but that's typically if you're sending large amounts of spammy outbound text messages. But every once in a while, you'll get somebody who says, hey, I didn't fill out that lead form, and they'll say stop. So you're not going to get enough of these stops to actually make a difference or get your account restricted unless you're doing something you're not supposed to do, like cold outbound outreach. And stop is automatically triggered in the high-level system to turn DND off, or to turn DND on. And this saves us a workflow. And so I'm just going to use stop here. And I'm going to save that here. And I'm going to leave this nurture workflow exactly what it is. You can go on and create this longer, like maybe create a 7-day sequence where after this, and this is 1 minute, we want 1 hour. You can create a 7-day sequence where maybe you're waiting a day and then you're sending another message, you're waiting 2 days, sending another message, and don't feel that you're being too obnoxious or aggressive with this. This is aggressive, but you'd be surprised. I have a 7-day sequence in some of my active accounts, and you'd be surprised at the amount of people who respond to the message on the 7th day. They just get busy, they get distracted, and yeah, don't be afraid. So we're going to go ahead and save that. And so now we have our lead nurture workflow. So we need that. Let's go back into our tag management workflow and make sure that we add a step here and we say remove from workflow. I like to be verbose here and descriptive in my action names, because it makes it easier to come back and troubleshoot or identify some place where I have to change later on. So we're going to remove them from another workflow, and that workflow is going to be lead nurture. So anytime somebody adds the turn off bot, or they set the turn off bot setting to true, that checkbox that we created earlier on, then we're going to add the AI off tag, and we're going to remove them from the lead nurture workflow, so that lead no longer gets text messaged or bothered by our automation. And so we have our lead nurture, we have our AI off tag management, and so we're good to go there. Now, what we want to do is create the bot message workflow. So what the bot message workflow is essentially how we're getting messages from GoHighLevel to Closebot, so Closebot can process it and respond. The beautiful thing about Closebot is once you integrate it, you don't need to create any other workflows other than this workflow I'm about to show you right now. And GoHighLevel is automatically aware of all the conversations happening inside of GoHighLevel through this integration, and it's able to process any new messages through the workflow that we're about to create. And they have this link to setup instructions here, which are shown here, and it's a really simple workflow. The bare minimum is here, like we're going to create here, but we're actually going to add some sauce to it. And because we have a lead nurture workflow, I'm going to use this workflow to remove the contact from the lead nurture workflow in the event the customer replies. And so that way, if the customer replies and the bot is working on a response, we're not continuing to send them lead nurture messages and annoying them. Let's go ahead and do that. It'll make sense once we get to work. Let's call this a tool. It's probably not even a tool. We'll call it, yeah, sure. We'll name it a tool. Bot message This is a very important workflow if you're using Closebot. The trigger is going to be customer replied, and we're going to leave it empty right now. So if a customer replies on all channels, SMS, email, Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, it's all going to trigger this bot workflow, which is just a webhook sending it out to Closebot to process it. Now remember, if the AI off tag is on the contact, Closebot's still going to receive that message, but it's going to look at that tag and say, nope, I'm not doing anything with it because AI off tag is set. So we're going to save that. And then what we're going to do here is we are going to search for the webhook. And then I'll say webhook to Closebot. You know what? I'm not going to say Closebot. I'm going to say bot, because in the event that you're white labeling this, you're not going to want to refer to Closebot. So I'm just going to say webhook to bot. And then if I come here and I look at the URLs, Closebot provides us with a Closebot URL, but then they also provide us with a white label URL. So I'm just going to copy this white label URL and then come in here and paste it and click save. That's all I have to do. I don't have to add anything else. So what I am going to do though is check if the contact is in the lead nurture workflow. If they're in the lead nurture workflow, I'm going to remove them from the lead nurture workflow because they no longer need to be in there because they've already responded. Remember that lead nurture was to get an initial response. And if they triggered this workflow, then that means they're no longer needed in that workflow. They've already responded. So we're going to use the if statement here, and we're going to say in lead nurture workflow question mark. This branch is going to be yes. And the criteria here is going to say, we're going to say workflow contact is active in lead nurture. Save. So if they're active in lead nurture, they're going to go down this path. And what we want to do is remove them from the workflow. Lead nurture, another workflow, lead nurture, save, publish. So now there's two ways that people get removed from the lead nurture workflow: if they respond to a message or if they have the turn off bot is set, right? Another thing, if we come here to the AI off tag management, what if if our clients just want to add the AI off tag manually, we can add that as a trigger here. So if we come in here to tags, we will say tag is added AI off, which is just another way to turn off the bot. Save. It'll trigger this workflow. It'll come in here. It'll try to add the tag AI off, which it already exists. So it'll just skip this step and then it'll remove them from the lead nurture workflow. So super simple. Cool. So we've got our bot message there. Now, missed call text back. So I don't rely on the normal GoHighLevel missed call text back. And so if you come in here to the phone system, I end up turning this off. So if we go to advanced settings and then voicemail and missed call text back, I turn it off. So it's already turned off. And I create my own missed call text back workflow. And why do I do that? Because I want to trigger my bot, which essentially is just me sending them a message, but I also want to identify and define what actually happens whenever I miss a call, add a tag or something. And so I'm going to create a workflow for that. So let's come back in here. We will create a workflow from scratch. We'll call it tool, missed call text back. And the triggers are going to be call status. And this is going to be, let's see, filters. We're going to do call direction is incoming. And then call status is no answer. And so we'll say call status is no answer. And then also we will say call status voicemail. So if they reached our voicemail. So call direction is incoming. Call status is voicemail. And what we'll do here as an action is we'll add a tag just so that we can track this missed call. And then we will say missed call. And then we're also going to add a tag called missed call timer. And I'm going to explain to you why here in a second. Missed call timer. Save. So here's what we're going to do is we're going to create a conditional statement here. It's going to say missed call timer. We'll say no, and then we'll go to contact detail, tags, does not include missed call timer. So the reason we're doing this is because some people call and then they get a text message from the missed call text back system, and then they'll call again and then receive the same text message from the missed call text back system. And that kind of gives up the fact that you're automating this and it turns people off. And so what I do is I create another workflow called missed call text back timer that essentially makes sure that the tag gets added and removed, I say every 12 hours. So if they call twice in a 12-hour period, they're not going to get the same message. And so what I'm doing here is I'm checking like, hey, does the missed call text back timer tag exist? If it does exist, then go down this route and just go out the workflow. Don't even worry about it. But if it doesn't exist, then come down this workflow and actually add the tag missed call text back timer. And then we're going to have another workflow that actually has the timer and then add the tag missed call text back. We're going to come in here and we're going to send a text message and we are going to say, hey, sorry, we missed your call. I am unable to answer right now, but I can text, or I should say, but can I help you over text? Question mark. Right? We want to end these with a question so that it can respond, and then our bot picks it up and has the conversation, the qualifying conversation with them. So we are going to text the lead, and then we're also going to notify our team or our client's team that they just missed a call. And so we're going to use an app notification for this. So we're going to send them a notification. You missed a call. And then we'll say missed call from, and then we'll say contact phone number. All right, we're going to send them to the contact page and we're going to alert all users. So that's actually going to create a notification in their lead connector app where they can click on that notification and it'll take them straight to the contact where they missed a call from. So if they have a voicemail, they'll be able to see the voicemail right there. All right, I think that is good for missed call text back. Now we need the timer so that we can, tell whenever we need to be able to tell whenever the missed call timer tag is added, and then we need to wait 12 hours and then remove the tag so that they can come back in here 12 hours after. If we miss a call from them the next day, let's say, we want them to get the text. So we'll come in here and we'll create a tool called missed call timer. The trigger here is going to be the tag. So whenever the tag is added, missed call timer, we're actually going to trigger this workflow. And then first thing we're going to do is wait 12 hours. And then after 12 hours, we're just going to remove the tag. Missed call timer, missed call timer. All that for a missed call, but it's very powerful to have this workflow. And now, after 12 hours, that missed call timer tag is going to be removed. And if you remember in the last workflow we created, we checked, does the missed call timer tag exist? If it doesn't, go down the missed call text back route. So that's how we accomplish that. Cool. That was a big one, time-consuming one. Next thing we are going to do is we're working backwards. So lead qualification. I'm going to create this as if we're using Closebot. But again, if you're not using Closebot, maybe you have a different criteria to consider a lead qualified. But in my case, Closebot adds a tag called AI objectives complete. And so let's see if I show it here. Objectives. Yeah, it doesn't show it here, but essentially anytime a lead goes through all these objectives and it completes it, Closebot adds a tag called AI objectives complete. And so what I want to do is anytime that tag is added, I want to trigger a notification telling the client that they have a new qualified lead. I also want the lead to move into the qualified lead section of the sales pipeline. And then maybe I just add a tag called qualified lead. So let's go ahead and create a new workflow. Let's call it a tool qualified lead. And then here, the trigger is going to be anytime a tag is added. And this is just a framework for you. If you have different criteria, let's say you consider anybody who responds with their street address a qualified lead, then instead of contact tag added, you would just add, hey, if a contact has changed and the address section is no longer empty, then consider it a qualified lead and then do these things. Okay, so you can just change the trigger for your criteria. But in this case, I'm going to use this tag. Tag AI objectives complete. And then tag added. AI objectives complete. And then save. And we come in here and let's see, what do we want to do? Let's add the tag qualified. Cool. And then we're going to update the opportunity to move it to qualified stage. Sales pipeline, qualified lead. So we're moving them from new lead to qualified lead. You might ask, how did they get to new lead to begin with? We haven't created our lead intake workflows yet, so we're going to do that next. Opportunity name, we're going to leave that empty for now because we're actually going to create the opportunity name whenever we create lead intake. We're working backwards. All right, status, we're going to leave that open and allow opportunity to move to previous stages and pipelines. I enable that. You don't have to. Cool. And then now we need to notify the team. So let's tell the team, hey, you have a new qualified lead. And if you remember, we have emails and then we had this template that we created for qualified leads, which was the message snippet. So we'll just select that so we don't actually have to write it. And then who are we going to send it to? We'll send it to all users and save, internal notification, call that email. And then I'm going to come down here and copy this because we're actually going to create another internal notification inside of their app so that they can use their lead connector app. Notification, and I'll say new qualified lead. And we'll just paste that there. And move them to the contact, and we'll select all users, save. Cool. So now anytime somebody gets the AI objectives complete tag, they will be considered a qualified lead and the team will get notified. That lead will get moved in the sales pipeline. And actually we should add the AI off tag as well because there's no reason for the bot to be active anymore. And so we'll come in here and we'll add the AI off tag as well. So that turns off the bot automatically. Perfect. So that takes care of lead qualification. And now let's talk about the big scary topic of lead intake. And so I have a framework that I use for lead intake and yours may not be the same, but essentially I break up lead intake into digestible formats and I segment them from the lead source. And what does that mean? If a lead is coming in through a web form, I want to take specific actions. If they're coming in through a Facebook form, I want to take specific actions. If they're coming in through the chat widget or a live chat or a DM or an Instagram DM, I want to take specific actions, right? Now, I'm not going to create every single one of these workflows. One, it'll take too long, but two, you may not need them all. And so what I'm going to do instead is these workflows fall into two separate categories. And so if you look here, like we have web forms, right? We have a Facebook form. They're both forms. And so they take a similar approach. We also have a chat widget, which is the SMS chat widget is technically a form because it asks for their name and their phone number. A live chat widget is not a form. And then you have this section here, which is highlighted in blue. These are sort of the two categories here. We have form-based lead intake, and then we have conversational-based lead intake. And so instead, what I'm going to do for you is create two templates. I'm going to create a template for form-based lead intake, and then I'm going to create a template for conversational-based lead intake. And then I'm going to leave the triggers empty for you, and then you just go in there and add your triggers, and you'll see why I do it this way. And so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to create the form one first. So let's come back in here. And then this is where the numbers come in because I'm going to name this 0. And I'm going to call this a template. So I'm using my square brackets again. So if you see this, don't modify this template, duplicate this template. And I'm going to leave these as drafts so that you don't modify them. So we're going to call this form intakes. Or form intake. I'm going to leave the trigger empty for now, but if you were in here, you would literally select a form, whether it's a Facebook form, a TikTok form, a LinkedIn form, or a GoHighLevel form. You would select whatever it is. And I would recommend that let's say you're using GoHighLevel forms and Facebook forms, that you wouldn't put both triggers in the same workflow. You would duplicate the workflow and then create a new workflow for your GoHighLevel forms and then a new workflow for the Facebook forms. And it's because we're going to tag things and segment things. And you can do it all in one workflow using conditional statements and filtering by certain things. But then the workflow becomes too big for you to manage and it becomes difficult for you to keep up with, and it'll look different for every account. So that's why I do it this way, but I'm going to leave this trigger empty for now. And what we're going to do is I'm going to tag, and I use this tag called intake not tag, intake. And the reason I do that is sometimes I like to filter what messages go out to Closebot, and sometimes I filter from this intake tag, but in this case, I'm going to use it and it's not really going to be used, but this is just saying, hey, this lead came through an intake workflow of some sort. And so I'll say intake. And then what else do we want to do? We want to create the opportunity, right, in our sales pipeline. And this is the new lead opportunity, sales pipeline, new lead. The opportunity name will just be the contact full name here. Maybe we'll put the contact phone number as well. Phone number. And then opportunity source, we'll leave that empty for now. Source will remain unchanged, yada, 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 cool. And then lead status is going to be open. And then sure, we'll allow leads to move to previous versions. So we'll save. Now, what else do we want to do? We want to notify our team that we got a new lead, right? So let's go into internal notifications. We're going to send an email out. It's not how you spell email. And then we'll send an email, go to templates. We created that snippet earlier, and this time it's an unqualified lead. And so I'm just going to copy this because I'm going to use this again in the next notification. So we're sending an email saying, hey, you got an unqualified lead. We're sending it to all the users in this sub account. Click save. And then now we are going to come in here and create another internal notification for the app. So they're getting notified in their app and in their email. Notifications. New unqualified. I think I capitalized this before. Lead. We're going to paste that. We're going to send them to the contact page. We're going to notify all users. Save. Awesome. So now new lead has come in. They got the intake tag. They received the intake tag. A new opportunity has been created. We've notified the team. Now we actually need to send that initial message out to the lead. And so let's go out and SMS the message. Because this is a form, we're going to go out and SMS the lead, and assuming we have their phone number already, because whatever form you have them fill out, hopefully you're asking for their phone number. So we're going to call this an intro message. And the intro message is important because what I do in the intro message, and this is a little hack, is I introduce myself or my bot. I said, hey, this is Closebot name or whatever bot name. And then I leave the message. I end it there. I wait like 1/10 of a second. And then actually it's a little bit more than 1/10 of a second. And then I send the next message, which is the initial bot message, which that bot message is something like, hey, thank you for your interest in our service. I just needed to get a few pieces of information to go on to the next steps. Is that okay? And then I leave it at that, and I hope for them to respond. If they don't respond, we add them to the lead nurture workflow. We're going to keep pinging them for 30 minutes, 1 hour. And then if you went ahead and created a longer nurture sequence, then they'll continue to get nurture for that. I'll just say, hey, contact first name. This is bot name. Let's see. Sometimes, let me save this. Sometimes my screen acts up and things get rendered weirdly. Bot name from, so we're just introducing ourselves here, from account name. So this is bot name from whatever the business is. We're going to save that. We're going to wait 1/10 of a second just to make sure. If you don't wait, sometimes these messages can get sent out of order and then it's a little weird. So we'll just wait 0.1 minutes. You can't put seconds in here, so you have to give it like a decimal value. Save. So we're just going to wait like a fraction of a minute, and then we're going to send an SMS. And this is our initial message. And if you remember, we created a initial bot message in here. as a custom value and save, right? So if you didn't have an initial bot message, you can actually spell out the message in here, but instead what you're going to do is you are going to come in here, and in this initial bot message, here is where you would set your message. You already introduced yourself. You said, hey, this is the bot's name from XYZ LLC. I needed to get a few pieces of information to get you set up. Is that okay? So you would have to update this initial bot message for whatever industry you're working on. So this is where you can be industry specific inside of the custom values. Let's say you're doing flooring. You can say, hey, I needed to get a few pieces of information to get you set up with an estimate, or to get a better idea of your project, or to get you assigned to the right therapist, or whatever it is. You would put that in the initial bot message, and then that will automatically be filled inside of this workflow here. So save. And the reason I do that, remember, if I come in here, I have web forms, Facebook forms, SMS chat forms. That's 3 different workflows. So let's say I had an initial message that I was using as standard, and I wanted to make a change to that initial message. Then I would have to go into those 3 workflows and make that change. Instead, now I just go into the custom value and make this change. And again, I fill this out here just as an example so you can see it. And when I create this snapshot, that value is not going to be stored in there. It's going to be completely empty. And then you'll go in there and you'll edit this whenever you create a sub account from this snapshot. Now we got our tagging, we have our new opportunity got created, we notified the team, we went out and we reached out to the client, and this is all happening like in the first few seconds of the lead filling out their form. And lastly, what we need to do is we need to add them to the nurture workflow immediately, because remember, the first step in the nurture workflow is just wait for 30 minutes. And if they respond in those 30 minutes, then that bot workflow is going to remove them. Okay, so let's go ahead and search for add to workflow, nurture, and then we are going to add them to the lead nurture workflow, click save. And I'm not going to publish this one because I want this to be a template for you. So here we have that template. So now what we're going to do here is we're going to duplicate this workflow, and we are going to work on, call this done. Change that to red. Yeah, whatever, it's fine. I'm not going to obsess over that. And then we're actually going to come in here and create the live chat workflows, and so the template for that. So let's go ahead and duplicate this workflow. Let's remove this copy. We'll call this conversational intake. So we're using this for DMs, for our live chat widget, for our Facebook DMs, whatever they are. So conversational intake. So we're going to come in here, and the trigger is going to be empty. But in the case that you're using like a Facebook Messenger, right here, you have not comments. Oh, it would actually be customer replied. And then you would come in here and filter the reply channel down here, and you would say like Facebook, for example, Facebook Messenger, there it is. Or if you're going to say Instagram DM, there it would be there. Okay. And then just name the trigger accordingly. But what we're going to do here is tag intake. That's cool. We're not going to create a new opportunity just yet. And so I'm actually going to modify some of this stuff, but I'm just using it here so I don't have to type over and over again. But instead of creating a new opportunity, what we're going to do is we're actually going to create a wait step right after the intake. And I'm going to create a conditional wait step, and that's going to be wait until phone number. And so the first message they send is probably not going to include their phone number. But remember, our bot message is going to catch any messages that come in from any reply channel. And so the bot hopefully has an objective, which is to collect their phone number. And so we're just going to wait till we get the phone number, and then we're going to create the opportunity. And so I'm going to use, instead of a time delay, I'm going to use a condition. And I'm going to say wait until contact details phone number is not empty. So if the phone number is not empty, then do the following things. And then we're going to create a timeout, right? Because if we're talking to somebody on a live chat widget, let's just say, I don't know, 6 hours. So wait until phone number, or 6 hours. If they're not giving us their phone number in 6 hours, we can just remove them from the workflow and just sort of ignore them. And so that creates a branch here. And so if they get a phone number, they'll go down this branch. And so at this point, we have their phone number. We can create the new opportunity, which is their name and their phone number. And then we can notify the team that we have a new unqualified lead, because we have at least their name and their phone number. And then here, we're not actually going to SMS them because we don't need to. We're talking to them on the live conversational channel. So we're not going to SMS them. So we can go ahead and delete this. And remember, the bot is taken over for our conversation. So we don't actually need to manually text them. We don't need to put them in a lead nurture workflow because since they sent us the message already, Closebot's follow-up sequence right here is going to take over the follow-up. So we don't have to have a workflow for that. It's really nice and it's simple. And once that's done, we'll click save. And we're good to go. Now, one thing I do like to do for this one is I like to set this to allow re-entry to not on. So I turn that off, I disable that because I only want the contact to come in here once and then essentially sit here, wait here till we have their phone number and then drop them. They come back in for some reason after they've been dropped, so be it. But what I've seen is that most times if a lead is going to convert, then they have that conversation up front. And if they're not going to convert, then they're probably never going to convert. So I just leave it alone. Now, if you want to make that change for you and your business, then you can, but that's how I run it. So we have both of our template intake workflows. So how this would work, just as an example, if we were going to do a Facebook lead form, we would come over here, we would duplicate the workflow, we'd clean up this copy here. Instead of template, we would just say Facebook form intake. And this is just an example. I'm going to delete this afterwards. And then we would come in here, we would set the trigger to Facebook lead form. Submitted, we would select whatever page that we have connected, and then we would click save. This isn't going to allow me to save because I don't have a page connected, but let's just do GHL form intake. So if I come in here and I look at form, I'll say, hey, anytime the form is submitted, let's say our A2P form, which again is not going to be used for lead generation, we would save that and then save. And then maybe in here, we want to add a tag here that says A2P form or something. I don't know. And then that's it. And then you would, if you want to do it for a Facebook form, you would just duplicate the workflow and create it for the Facebook form. So I'm actually going to delete that workflow because I want you to create your own using the templates. Awesome. So that covers that. Let's see. I think we might be complete. All that's left to do is to create the actual snapshot, which I'll walk you through that snapshot as well. I did tell you that I was going to walk you through creating the custom links for Uphex, and so give me 1 second so I can get there. All right, so inside of the agency view of GoHighLevel, you go to settings, and then I'm over here at custom menu links, and here is where you would integrate your Uphex so that it appears on all your sub accounts. And so all you would do is click create new. You can select an icon, whatever icon you may want. You can name it like Facebook ads, and then you would paste a URL that Uphex gives you during their onboarding process. It's pretty clear and simple. They give it to you. They tell you to paste it here. They even give you instructions here. And then you're going to leave this on open as embedded page as an iframe. And then this is not an agency sidebar. You only want it in the sub account sidebar. And then what you'll do is just say all sub accounts. And then role-based visibility, you don't have to worry about that. But if you wanted, you could say only users or only admins can see it. Right now, I'll set it to all. And then click save. Now, I don't have the URL in there, so I can't actually save it, but that's exactly how you would create the custom menu link. And what's that custom menu link going to look like to your client? If you come over here on the left-hand side, you'll see that, do I have it inside this snapshot? I don't. Let me add it to this snapshot really fast so you can see. Now, as a matter of fact, I'll pop into the coaching demo. All right, so I'm here in my coaching demo, and so over here we have this Facebook ads link, and so if I click in here, this actually loads Uphex in an iframe. That's just, hey, it loads a browser within a browser, and if I launch new campaigns, I come in here, they'll be able to see our home remodeling, and now our beautiful ad templates have already loaded, and so if one of your clients want to deploy one of these ads, they would literally just select it, they answer these 2 questions and literally click launch campaign and they're off to the races. And you have all the workflows on the back end to support that, which is a beautiful thing. So last thing we're going to do is I'm going to show you how to create the snapshot. And so I'm going to pause this to go back to my agency view and walk you through that. All right, so I'm back in my agency view and I am on the sub accounts menu and I'm right here at the Ready Set SaaS snapshot sub account that we created at the beginning of this tutorial. And so if I click over here and I click actions, actually I'm wrong. We actually need to be in the snapshot section. So let me get there. All right, so I'm here in the account snapshot section. And if I click here on create new snapshot, let me remove some of this blur here. There you go. And I go to snapshot name. I will create this as ready set SaaS. And I'll search ready set SaaS. And so I'm going to snapshot the sub account that we just created, which is called ready set SaaS. And I'm going to click next and then create. And there you go. That's how you create a snapshot. Now, if I come in here and look at my sub accounts, and let's say like I already have a sub account where I want to load this snapshot in, all I would do is click on the sub account and I would click load snapshot. And then I would actually come in here and search for my snapshot ready set SaaS or SaaS inside of here. Another way though is whenever you're using your SaaS configurator, which I'll show you here in a second, you can actually attach that snapshot to your SaaS configurator. So if you're on the 497 plan, and you have a checkout page, as soon as somebody checks out with the SaaS configurator product, then this snapshot automatically gets loaded, making your job of fulfillment a whole lot easier. So let me pop into the SaaS configurator and show you where that's configured. So if you look here, I am in my SaaS configurator and I am in one of my SaaS plans, which I just have named as general business plan. But if you come in here to the features section, whenever you're creating one, you have this little snapshot area where you can click this link and literally link a snapshot. And so I'm sorry, that's custom menu links, but in here you can link a snapshot. And I have the general business snapshot uploaded here. This is another snapshot that I have, but you would be able to select this whenever you are configuring your SaaS. And then you would just select the ready set SaaS snapshot so that every time somebody purchases or checks out for your SaaS product, they will have an account created with the ready set SaaS snapshot that you created. So that's it. That was an extremely long video, an hour and a half of going through and creating a snapshot for you. I think this is incredibly valuable. I think this alone, this snapshot, some ingenuity and some prospecting, you can start running sub accounts. You can have your own SaaS built off this. You can start charging $397 a month, bring on 10 clients. That's $4,000 a month. You'll be good to go. I think fulfillment will be simplified, not necessarily easy. You'll be able to refine over iterations, but I wish I had this snapshot. And you can download this snapshot completely for free inside of my Skool community, the automation station. I'm going to leave a link below to join. Hop in there and just contribute. That's all I ask. Contribute to the community, add value where you can. And yeah, if you find this content helpful, please like, comment, subscribe. And till next time, see you later. Peace.